Hey, shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
First and foremost, we love to give all the glory, honor, and praises unto Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Chakwadash. And of course, double honors to our apostles and elders, a great millstone who rule well within this ministry, taught us this of mouth, which is the truth. Peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect that preach this truth out of the four corners of the globe, risking their lives and freedom to do so. Shalom, shalom. All right, it's your brother Shamari from the GMS Cleveland branch. Got the brothers Napash Kwadash.
Shalom.
The brother Yabba Khan.
Shalom.
And Lord willing, this be an edifying lesson, man. Okay, this is another 2025 update today, or tonight. Now it's tonight in Cleveland, Ohio, March the 3rd. All right, and we got this article, going into Trump and the effects of these 25% tariffs that he has right now on predominantly Canada and Mexico, and it's actually going to be put into effect tomorrow, man. Okay, which is going to change the economy, and it's going to affect you American citizens. All right, because if America has to, if America is putting tariffs on China, Mexico, and Canada, and America gets their imports from these different places, and guess what? It means it's going to cost consumers, it's going to cost you more money to buy those products, whether it's clothes or whether it's whatever it is that's being taxed. If you're an American citizen, all right, and you got that item and it says made in Canada or made in Mexico or made in China, you're going to have to pay more for it, man. You could grab, unless y'all had something to say yours. Okay, go ahead.
This is the Newsbreak article. It says, Trump says 25% of tariffs on Mexican and Canadian imports will start Tuesday with no room for delay.
Right. So he's no longer delaying this, man. All right, because you've had talks about this since last year, since the ending of last year. You have talks about Trump putting these tariffs on Mexico and Canada and so forth and so on. But now he's saying there's no more room for delay. Why? Because Esau knows he has but a short time. Okay, and he's speeding things up, which really is the Lord speeding things up for prophecy's sake. All right, so this is once again updating news. You got it.
Washington AP. President Donald Trump said Monday that 25% taxes on imports from Mexico and Canada would start Tuesday, sparking renewed fears of a North American trade war that already shows signs of pushing up inflation and hindering growth.
See, it says it already shows signs of pushing up inflation and hindering growth. So America's already being affected by it now. All right, I believe I seen an article about a week or two ago going into inflation in America as soon as 2025 started. How there was a 10% or 20% inflation rate in America as soon as 2025 started, man. All right, and then now you got people talking about how eggs is sky high, this is sky high, and now it's hard for certain people to be able to buy groceries and sustain themselves throughout the week and budget because they have to pay more for certain things that they need to survive. So how much more for when this is actually in effect and then it actually starts to wear and tear on you civilians?
I had a quick precept. Because it was a brother read just a minute ago earlier in that article. It talked about how the tariffs will no longer be delayed. Because Trump, he been talking about the tariffs. He actually put them, he actually set them up to come to pass going back to his first couple of weeks in office. But now here it is, March 3rd, 2025, and the tariffs is actually set to take effect tomorrow, But he says it's going to no longer be delayed when ultimately it's the Lord that's no longer letting these things be delayed.
Mm-hmm.
But real quick, Habakkuk 2 and 3 says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time. What's the visions? The different prophecies. Because all of this is going to lead to what? It's going to lead to hyperinflation.
Mm-hmm.
Not just things going up, but things going up drastically. okay, in a short amount of time, which that's prophesied in Revelation the 6th chapter, amongst many other scriptures. So it says the vision is yet for an appointed time, meaning it's going to be a set day, a set month of a set year that the Lord will have the different prophecies come to pass.
That's right. And this is the time for it, man. We starting to see the beginning of these prophecies come to pass. All right, with actually you got one of them you got on deck, don't you, Napash?
I got a couple.
All right, go ahead. Fire roll.
Too.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
It says, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Because the different things that the prophets saw, it wasn't for the times that they was living in when they saw him. No, it was set for the end.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, meaning the end of the heathens ruling prior to our Lord and Savior Yahweh shall return to setting up his kingdom. When you see, when the Lord is about to return, then that's when you start to see the different prophecies coming to pass. And that's what we see. The famine, which that goes into the scarcity of food and water, we see that being brewed up. You see World War III being brewed up. You see famine of the word, persecution. You see the false prophets. Of course, you see the gospel being spread from one end of the earth unto the other for gospel for a witness unto all nations. So the Lord said that all of these will start to speak in the end times. And it says, and not lie, though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. But the main prophecy or the main topic at hand is dealing with these tariffs, because all of this is going to directly affect the consumers. It's already affecting the eggs. Okay, eggs were just $3-4 for 12 of them. Now it's almost $7 for 12 of them. So you already see it coming to pass, but it's going to increase and it's going to become more and more intense. It's going to be in your backyard.
Exactly. And this is Esau crashing his own system, crashing his own economy so he could build it back up through the NWO and through that system using that C hit, man. All right, and we know that this is what that's leading up to. All right, through prophecy's sake.
This is Revelation chapter 6, verse 6. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say,
right, because Salakia, in that article, it said that this would spark renewed fears of a North American trade war that already shows signs of pushing up inflation and hindering growth. So this is not being talked about as a good thing. This is being talked about as starting a trade war, which America has been in a lot of proxy wars and trade wars, right? And not only that, you going to trade wars with people that's supposed to be your allies, which makes no damn sense. That's fitting with prophecy. Not only that, but it's going to push up inflation and hinder growth of your own kingdom. And that's what this prophecy right here that the brother about to read, it fits.
Revelation 6 and 6. And I heard a voice in
Salaki, can you start at verse 5?
Revelation 6 and 5. And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse.
And when you read throughout the scriptures, depending on the context, black has to do with mourning, grief and sorrow. So that black horse that the brother about to read about, it is synonymous with that. You got it.
And he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand.
When you go into the blue letter for the pair of balances, the Greek word is going to be zygos, which is a literal pair of balances, but it also represents slavery, and it also represents troublesome laws, which that's what would take place in the latter days. You will have slavery, the hardcore slavery that happened to the 12 tribes of Israel, and then also underneath the wicked elite bankers, you will have slavery come back in a digital form. You got it.
Revelation 6 and 5, it say, and when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand.
And also a pair of balances is used for what? For measurement.
Mm-hmm.
When you're about to measure something, you need to have a scale. That's what a pair of balances is. It's a scale. Okay, so it's gonna tell you what was being read on the scale. You got it.
And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny. And see thou hurt not the oil and the wine.
God, when you go to the measure of wheat and the 3 measures of barley, it's going to say such as would support a man of moderate appetite for a day. So for somebody with a moderate appetite, meaning you only eat once or twice a day, which we know that's not the American diet. But for you to be able to eat once or twice a day, it's going to cost you a penny. And when you go into the blue letter for the word penny, it's going to be the Greek word denarios. Okay, or the what is it? The denarius. Yeah, the denarius, which that was the Roman coin, but it was equivalent to what you would get paid for working for a full day.
A day's wages.
Yeah, a day's wages. So the average person today, their day's wages will be about $100 and about $120, $130, somewhere in that ballpark. So that means you got to spend that much just to be able to eat one time for one day. That's hyperinflation.
Right. And you people haven't felt that yet, man. The people have not felt that. All right. You people only feel a sense of inflation on the rise. Inflation hasn't reached its full extent yet, man. So let alone how much more for hyperinflation. The people gonna lose their minds. Scriptures talk about they shall invade one another, because of lack of bread. Roughly paraphrasing. What you got in the pot? You can finish that out.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like the brother was going into, that's going into a day's wages, and that's what you gonna spend. Most people work about 5 days on average. That means you don't eat 5 meals a week if that's all you work. If that, it might be a portion of a meal. You might just get one side that day. And then it say,
so if I can add to you, and that's not even counting the family. That's support a man of a moderate appetite, meaning that one man know how to eat. He know how to go eating once or twice a day. That's not even including the rest of his family that's used to eating McDonald's 3 times a day, and so on and so forth. You got that.
I was just gonna say real quick, that made me think of the one verse with Isaiah 4:1, where they gonna get their own apparel, eat their own foods. In that day, hey, this for me. This what the Lord gave me.
Yeah, for the men of the Lord, it's gonna be tables gonna turn.
Yeah,
the Lord said He gonna feed His servants.
Well, damn, that line up with the end of this verse. It say, "And see thou hurt not the oil and the wine," which is a representation of His truth and His understanding. All these prophecies don't come to pass, but it ain't gonna hurt the truth. It's just gonna flourish it. Because people gonna see, then they shall see a prophet was amongst them. Mm-hmm. They gonna see, them was the prophets. They been told us hyperinflation was gonna hit. They been told us World War III was gonna hit. Everything we've been speaking gonna come true. Especially, like I said, this inflation. This is a well-known scripture that only GMS break down like this. And people gonna know, GMS been saying hyperinflation, right. We was gonna eat once a day. I remember they was reading Isaiah 65, and he said that his servants was gonna eat, and those who wasn't servants, that's gonna be on people's mind very hard.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I got something real quick.
All right, come on.
Because like you said, then they gonna know a prophet have been among them. But at that point, it's gonna be too late because they're gonna be experiencing the same things that we were saying going to come to pass, actually come to pass, and that's when they're gonna be. That's when they have to deal with the vexation of the spirit. They're gonna be howling and crying. I can tell you in Isaiah the 65th chapter why the Lord's service is gonna be good. But just real quick, this is the book of Ezekiel chapter 4, and starting at verse 16, it says, "Moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, behold, I will break the staff of bread in Jerusalem." So this is the Lord speaking. Every time a famine came to pass, it was the Lord that was doing it. So the Lord saying He gonna break the staff of bread, which the staff is a support system. Mm-hmm. There's no wonder that you see Donald Trump talk about cutting the different government funded programs. Yeah, the different government funding, whether it be snaps or this or that, because it's the Lord that is turning the king's heart, like the scripture tell you in Proverbs 21, in order to fulfill the prophecies that the Lord said was going to happen. If
you notice, a lot of stuff he defunded affected so-called black men and black women. He's saying how he want basically food stamps, anything to that nature. You can only be on it for 2 years and you got to get off. He just got rid of, the DEI? It was something, but it was basically for diversity which affected Israelites mainly, where they was like, well, we ain't gotta hire you here at Walmart no more. We don't got the diversity program no more. So all niggas that was on this, you out of here. Colleges is getting rid of it. They protesting, and guess what? Protesting ain't working no more.
So it says, Ezekiel 4:16, moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, behold, I will break the staff of bread in Jerusalem, and they shall eat bread by weight, and that's the spirit. Because a brother in our camp just sent to the chat of how certain food spots is now putting the food on a scale before they actually sell it to the customer. Why? Because they eating the bread by weight. When you eat something by weight, meaning you put it on the scale, you got to measure it. You need a pair of balances, like we read in Revelation 6. So it says, was you about to say something?
Yeah, I was gonna say, imagine being hungry and you then went a day or two without eating, and you're being rationed out food, especially if you have a family, man. Okay, it's gonna, you know what it's gonna do? It's going to stir up your emotions. Okay, and it's going to cause you to react in a very beast-like way.
It's going to cause you to be psycho. If you say, Scripture say, the love of many shall wax cold. Well, when you go into the Greek for the wax cold, it's going to say psycho. You look up Google definition for the word psycho, it's going to say an unstable and aggressive person. Why people going to be unstable? Because they're going to be doubting whether or not they're going to make it to the next day. Right. Whether or not their kids going to see the next day. So that's going to cause them to be aggressive. Oh, well, I know my neighbors, they've been stacking up canned goods for the past couple of years. So we about to go over there and take it. We need it. We ain't trying to hear, please, no, how my kids going to eat. No, my kids got to eat. Not your kids, my kid.
I got what you quoted.
Go ahead.
2 Ezra 15:19, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. And you gotta think about that. Your neighbor that you've been jogging past every day, waving at, he done baked you a blueberry pie when you moved in. This same man gonna kick your door in and put the knife to your neck and say where the food at. When you tell him, he gonna take your life anyways. The same person that you say, oh, that man soft, he wouldn't hurt a fly. He gonna take your fucking life in that day. Because it's going to be a matter of his kids eating or your kids eating. And he not going to have no pity. He not going to think twice about it, basically. When he put that gun in your head, that knife, his fist to your teeth, he's not going to think twice about who he doing it to. It don't matter if you the mayor. It don't matter if you his second, third cousin. If you ain't a part of his intermediate family, you getting took up top. And when the bread gets so close, if you is a part of his intermediate family, you ain't gonna eat that day.
Right.
Was you done with that?
Yeah, that was it for that verse.
I'm gonna go back to Ezekiel 4. I'm gonna read verse 16 again. It says, moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, behold, I will break the staff of bread in Jerusalem. So ultimately, it's the Lord that's bringing the famine, that's bringing the scarcity, because the whole world is covered in wickedness. And now it's time for the Lord to punish them for their iniquity, like the scripture says. So it says, moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, behold, I'll break the staff of bread in Jerusalem. They shall eat bread by weight, which is what? Rationing. Which they show you that in various movies, and it's about to come back in a big way, worse than they show you in the movies. It says, and with care, and they shall drink water by measure, and with astonishment, that they may want bread, want meaning to lack, that they may want bread and water, and be astonished with another, and consume away for their iniquity. Now I'm going to read that in the NLT. Ezekiel 4:16 says, then he told me, Son of man, I will make food very scarce in Jerusalem. It will be weighed out with great care and eaten fearfully. Why is it going to be eaten fearfully? Because people, they're going to be doubting whether or not they're going to make it to see the next meal. They barely made it to see the meal that they're going to be eating. They're going to be doubting that they're going to make it to see the next one.
Exactly.
And it says the water will be rationed out drop by drop, and the people will drink it with dismay. Quick Google definition for the word dismay. It says what? It says consternation and distress, typically that caused by something unexpected. Here there's people living it up. They taking trips. These women becoming 304s. These niggas being passport bros and so on and so forth. They living it up in America. They expecting for things to go back to how it was, to be great again, which it never was great for the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American man. So our people, they're not expecting for these things to come to pass, for them to see their children starving to death before their eyes, for them to be starving to death. So when it's actually happening, when they actually got a ration, there's no more eating 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times a day.
Right.
No more spending snap on the little Debbie's. When they get put in these predicaments, that's gonna cause that dismay. That's gonna cause that distress because they didn't expect it.
Exactly. If you was done,
it's one more verse. Verse 17 says, lacking food and water, like you said, like you read, for lack of bread and great tribulation. People, they gonna, like the saying goes, when people got nothing to lose, they lose it. So it says, lacking food and water, people will look at one another in terror. And even though they may be looking at the next person like they about to pounce on them, they really gonna be looking at them out of fear. Because they don't know if that person gonna pounce on them.
And it's gonna be real once you see, like Brother Napostos is going to, intermediate family in that situation, And the scriptures talk about how, in Lamentations, how the women side in their children, basically cook their children. All right. And how much more for a time like no other? If they did it during the Babylonian captivity, how much more for now? You're going to have certain men. The child may be starving. All right. But a man might be with his child. The child might be starving. And if the man come across some food, he going to eat that food. He going to let the child starve. Or he may let the child starve and eat the child. These are the dire situations that the Lord is about to bring upon America and the earth.
And it says, and they will waste away under their punishment. And these things are going to be happening because the Lord is punishing the wicked for their wickedness. Like it tell you in Sirach, the 39th chapter, where you read about the spirits that was created for vengeance, it say punishing the wicked to destruction. So the Lord gonna have the death angels at work. They already at work, but He gonna have them at work. Okay, like never before, because it's to punish the wicked to destruction. Ain't no righteous man gonna be starving to death. Ain't no righteous man family gonna be starving to death before his eyes, and the Lord not coming through. No, these things is happening for the wicked's sake.
That's right.
You gotta go.
Can somebody grab Joshua 24 and 15?
Yeah, I got you.
Can somebody grab Psalms 2 and 4?
It's Joshua chapter 24, verse 16. It says, it says, and the people answered and said, Yahweh forbid that we should forsake the Lord to serve other powers or gods.
Joshua 24 and 15.
Okay, guys, Salaki. Oh, yeah. This is Joshua chapter 24, verse 15. And if it seem evil unto you to serve the Lord, choose you this day whom ye will serve, whether the gods which your fathers served that were on the other side of the flood, or the gods of the Amorites in whose land ye dwell. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord.
Hey, it's the same thing going on today. We in that same spirit of Joshua, because it don't matter what God you niggas serve, whether it's the God on the other side of the flood, whatever God your grandma believed in, or whatever my granddad told me, I should just touch the statue of Buddha. Whatever you think gonna give you power, choose today who you gonna serve. Is you gonna serve Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua, or is you gonna serve JC that's on every corner, or your Muslim cousin that got a couple good, he good with his words and it sounds very good to you? Who you gonna serve? Because in this day that we talking about, it's really here at this point. Because inflation is hitting really hard. Jacob's trouble, it ain't hard to see it coming.
Right.
It's really closer than what we believe.
Exactly.
Because
go ahead.
I was about to say, because you really got to choose at a certain point, because you got a lot of half-ass people. Well, I'm an Israelite, but every once in a while I go to church with my grandma. I'm an Israelite, but every once in a while I get a little pepperoni on my pizza. Well, it's time for you to make a big decision. Because you can't choose both sides. It's time for you to make a decision. Because in this day, when you was like, well, I'm going to just get a feel for everything, and when I see things, I'm going to make a decision. No, it's going to be too late. Right. You're going to be wondering, well, damn, I should have chose you. How about Bahashim Yahushua? And you're going to be looking down in your ribs. You're going to see them. And you're going to be thinking like, damn, I should. No, that's why we here now. We giving you that sound, that correct sound. We giving you the breakdowns. We giving you the warning of what's to come. And, and you, in your mind, you have to be persuaded in your mind, oh, this is the truth. I need to be ready. I need to prepare myself for what they're telling me to prepare it in. Because we ain't like these Armageddon people on YouTube. Get your canned goods and get you some non-perishable rice. We ain't saying do all of that. Whether you do it or not is on you, but we ain't saying do all that. We saying is getting right with the Lord. Get your faith together. Get your understanding. Get your relationship with the Lord. That's the main thing. Because in this time period, when it's a lack of water, when it's a lack of bread, when it's a lack of food, who you going to depend on? Because Esau Edom going to tell you, hey, man, here's the seed to the hip. These your options.
Right, and that's the point. Is you going to serve Esau in the beast system, or is you going to serve the Lord? Because that's what it's literally going to boil down to. You're going to have to pick a side. Esau, the Lord is going to use Esau to make you pick a side. All right? Is you going to, because if you trust in yourself and you say, fuck this, I'm about to go rogue, and I'm about to trust in all this stuff I've been stacking up, like the brother in the pot saying, then the Lord's going to get your ass. One of them plagues going to get your ass, man. Whether it's famine, the beast of the field, Esau, Edom and his troops, or whether it be a pestilence or a disease, or you dealing with the elements of the earth. You going to get got, man, if you are that number to be destroyed, okay? But if you serve Esau, Edom, and you take that sea hit, then you're going to take part of that second death. But if you serve the Lord, then there's chance for you, man. And that's the point. That's why we come out with these lessons and warn you about what's actually going on in the world, to warn the sincere so they could foresee the evil and hide themselves, man.
I was just thinking about how the Lord will keep us from these evils, things that I personally saw. I remember Elder Tangai, he was thinking about how the biggest waterfall in like Northeast Ohio is smack dead in the hood of Cleveland. But a nigga that's in the hood, he not going to go to that waterfall when it's a lack of water. He going to go straight to Esau, Edom in the grocery store and say, well, what I got to do for a bottle of water? Not knowing you got a fucking million gallons of water falling freely with real minerals in it. And they're not going to know that waterfall is right there. You walking past it every day, they'll get a bottle of water. But the Lord is going to have to let come straight to that waterfall.
Did you want that Psalms?
Con.
It's the book of Psalms, chapter 2, and verse 4. It says, he that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh, the Lord shall have them in derision.
Start up something about
you want to start from the top.
No. Just I guess you can start from the top.
Psalms chapter 2, verse 1. It says, why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? The kings of the earth set themselves and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed, saying, let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us.
Hey, because you better believe all these tariffs, taxes that you're seeing, really, that's mainly to oppress Israel. Because like I said, a lot of those things they speaking about, they mainly attack Israel. But who are they got something called secondhand smoke. Who is it affecting? The rest of the United States of America. Your so-called Edomite, he feeling them effects of them effects are supposed to be targeted for us. Because here it is, the taxes on cars, what's that supposed to do? Make Jake want to depend on the system more. But now your so-called Edomite, it's going to make it hard for him to have a car. And ultimately, the Edomite, he has such a spirit of, we're going to destroy the Lord and his people. You destroying yourself trying to destroy us. But hey, we ain't going to be destroyed. Little do you know.
Right. That was the whole point. Because these heathens, Esau mainly, think their kingdom going to last forever, man. All right. Because we once had these devils in captivity, right? When you even think about during the time of King David, you think about the Dark Ages. We once had these devils and these heathens in captivity, man. All right. But then what did the Lord do? The Lord ended up loosening that devil for a season, and now he's in rulership over the rest of these other nations who have a seat in his rulership, in his kingdom. All right, so that was Esau basically breaking off the bands asunder and casting the cords away to put us. It was his turn to put us in captivity, man. And now that we're in his captivity, this is the end. We're at the end of his captivity, and we're seeing what this devil is doing, man. Okay? This devil, he's putting 25% tariffs on China, on Canada, to do what? To make his kingdom last. That's why the scripture said, why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? The vain thing is that the kingdom lasting forever. right? And if Esau's kingdom lasts forever, that means that the Lord's kingdom wouldn't come. That's void of prophecy, So we obviously know that Esau's kingdom is going to fall. He's putting tariffs on these other nations to try to make America great again, where the Lord is going to use you to do that so you could bring down your place, bring down the economy, bring down America. And then once you think you're about to build it up with your chip, that's when the Lord is going to disrupt you, man. According to Job, the 20th chapter.
That's why I say Psalms 2:4 says, "He that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh; the Lord shall have them in derision." And the Lord basically looking down like, look at these niggas.
Right.
These niggas goofy. Because all the heathen, mainly Esau, Edom, think that they're going to be able to rule. Okay? And when I say that, speaking in terms of, because you got the American Edomites, they beef with the Russian Edomites. Mm-hmm. So the Russian Edomites that think they going to come into power next. At the same time, you got the so-called Chinese, which is the biblical Moabites. They think they gonna have a chance next. So you got all these different heathens raging, meaning they all over the place. They all fighting each other, imagining vague things. But the whole time the Lord looking down, laughing, because he know he gonna have them in derision. Meaning what? He gonna disappoint their ass, and on top of that, he gonna be mocking them. He mocking them right now through his men, because we know through the spirit of power, how about Shemel Shai, none of these heathens got next, but rather we got next. So when we see them saying certain things, it's like, look at this. They really goofy because they don't got next. We do.
Exactly. That's why he in derision. The Lord have deceived them, and their deception is that this place gonna last forever. You got some?
Yeah, God. This is Proverbs chapter 1. It's like an apple chapter 1. This is Proverbs chapter 3. Chapter 3 and starting at verse 23. Or I'll start at verse 21. It says, "My son, let not them depart from thine eyes. Keep sound wisdom and discretion." Because to bring it full circle, it's troublous times ahead for America. Babylon is not going to be healed. Like it tell you in Jeremiah 51. We will have healed Babylon. But matter of fact, can you go there real quick, Barbara Shah? Because these tariffs is making, Trump impose the tariffs and present it to the public as if it's gonna make America better. Right. When in all actuality, is literally gonna make it worse for the Americans. You got it.
He think he about to do the call your bluff game. Eventually, these other countries gonna crack, and they gonna ease up, and then that's when we gonna rise back up into power. And that's not the game plan the Lord got set. Mm-hmm. Like I said, you see a lot of posts about people. A lot of people talking about how it wasn't nothing but 10 years ago you had a 79-cent burrito that's $7 now. And that's happening because tax and tariffs that's been happening over years, they never got lifted. And again, the American people, they got to get used to, well, this is life now. Mm-hmm. Here we go, another year. Well, this is life now. This is life now. Eventually, we'll get to the point where it's got to collapse.
It's Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 9. It says, "We would have healed."
So you can start at verse 8.
All right, come on. Jeremiah 51 and verse 8. "Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed."
Yep, and the downfall of America is something that the America is not going to expect. Therefore, it's going to be suddenly. Ultimately, with the missiles touching ground zero in America, but even leading up to that, the tariffs. Next thing you know, a loaf of bread is $12 in the grocery store. People are not going to be expecting that. It's going to be happening suddenly.
It says, "Howl for her, take balm for her pain. If so, she may be healed."
And you see the Americans howling. They crying out for grief and vexation. That's why every day you got numerous videos surfacing of fucking Americans complaining about their bills, about they living a paycheck to paycheck. And barely being able to do that, about getting laid off, and so on and so forth, because they howling for Babylon. It said, "If so be, she may be healed." But the whole time, they think Trump is going to be able to bring this place back on his feet, when the whole time, that's not the destination for America.
Yeah, you got these different conservatives and liberal Edomites. They coming out saying, "This is not the America I remember. This is not the America my parents grew up in and that I was raised off of. And what happened to my 401k and this, that, and the third, and my daughter and my son's college tuition." These are the things that they worry about, man. They howling. It says, verse 9, we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed.
Yeah, to make America great again, to build back better, Black Lives Matter, whatever it is, whatever type of program, agenda, model they try to push, is all in the name of making America great again. It's all in the name of healing Babylon. But the Lord don't want Babylon to be healed. It says, but she is not healed, because they done did all of this, but what's happening? Tariffs still happening. Inflation is still to come down the line. And so on and so forth. Civil war, don't forget civil war, race wars, class wars, gender wars, all of this is still brewing up.
Right. Planes crashing still to this day. Wildfires is still increasing. It says, forsake her and let us go everyone into his own country.
And that's the realization that the heathen is coming to and is going to continue to come to. Shit, we done made all our money over here. It's time for us to leave this place. That's when you're gonna have that's why the scriptures say the door shall be shut in the street that no man may go in. Because a lot of these different businesses and fast food places and whatnot is owned by heathen. So when the heathen get tired of America and want to leave, they gonna close that damn Subway. Exactly. They gonna close that Arby's and they gonna go back to their country.
Mm-hmm. It says, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies.
And that's the realization that they indirectly gonna come to. That America is not about to get better. It's about to be very gruesome and very bad, very grim, very gloomy and dark in America. We need to leave. That's the realization that the heathen gonna come to, and they're gonna be trying to leave if the Lord allowed them to, because a lot of heathen about to get judged in the midst of Jacob's trouble too.
That's right. And a lot of people, they're gonna know why America's getting judged too, because all the wickedness and fuckery that this place has done, and not only to these other nations, but really to Israel, to the nation of Israel, man. Mm-hmm. It's northern and southern kingdom. Yeah, Esau fucked over the other nations too, but y'all had literally a position with this devil. Jake never had a position, and the position that Esau gave you was a sellout position, you know, and it always ended up in Jake being the fucking laughing stock and a fool, and the shame was always on Jake. So people are going to know that the reason why America is getting judged, because the judgment and the sins of this place is going to be full, just like it say in Revelation 18. Mm-hmm. It's okay. Yeah, that was it. Yeah, okay, calm.
I'm glad this Proverbs chapter 3, because it said Babylon is suddenly falling, you know, and we know the scriptures. It's very scriptures speak about how the destruction is going to come sudden. Like, for example, 1 Thessalonians 5, it says, for when they shall say peace and safety, when they tell you the scandemic is over, you take the diapers off your face, you don't have to distance yourself 6 feet from the next person, everything is cool. The next thing you know, something else is going to happen. It's going to be another global emergency or whatnot. Because it said, then sudden destruction shall come upon them. So this is Proverbs 3 and 25. But be not afraid of sudden fear. But this is the Lord speaking to the elect. To those that have been serving him, doing what they supposed to do when the time was to do those things. He said, be not afraid of sudden fear. Because the same different things that's going to be happening all of a sudden that people don't expect. The elect was expecting it. And on top of that, they're not going to be afraid of it. It says, be not afraid of sudden fear, neither of the desolation of the wicked when it cometh. Why? Because the desolation of the wicked is coming. The Lord is about to cut down all these wicked niggas, spicks and tomahawks, all these wicked ass Edomites, you know, self-proclaimed Caucasian people and so-called Chinese and so-called East Indians. Lord about to cut all their ass down. He said, be not afraid when it actually happened, because the men of the Lord going to be witnessing these different judgments. And it says, why? Verse 26, for the Lord shall be thy confidence and shall keep thy foot from being taken. And that's the point. The men of the Lord, they're going to be good because they're going to have confidence in the Lord. And it's because the same way the Lord bringing the wrath, scripture tell you how mercy and wrath is with him. Same way the Lord bringing the destruction, he the same one that bring the deliverance.
Yeah, it say that in Wisdom of Solomon, either 17 or 18, that speaking about, you know, leaving out of Egypt, how the Lord, with that deliverance, the Lord brought a destruction, or vice versa.
I can read it. There's Wisdom of Solomon chapter 18, starting at verse 6. Watch this, verse 7 to the point. It says, so of thy people was accepted both the salvation of the righteous and destruction of the enemies.
See, that was synonymous. And that's going to happen again, this being the second Egypt. Just like how the Lord destroyed Pharaoh and his army in the Gulf of Suez, but through that happening, we were delivered out of the Gulf of Suez. You know, so that's a clear example of the salvation of the righteous and the destruction of the enemies simultaneously. And in this time, it's going to be what? Thermonuclear missiles raining down while the chariots is zapping and blasting niggas. That's the destruction of the enemies. But the Lord simultaneously going to be beaming up the elect. That's the salvation of the righteous, man.
Yeah. Because it says, verse 8, Wisdom of Solomon 18:8, for wherewith thou didst punish our adversaries, even the things leading up to the ultimate deliverance and destruction upon Pharaoh and his army. You had the different 10 plagues. Yep. They had to deal with what? Losing their cattle. They had to deal with losing their water. They had to deal with darkness. Okay, and so on and so forth. So it says, for wherewith thou didst punish our adversaries, the same plagues that our enemies had to suffer. It says, by the same thou didst glorify us whom thou hast called. Because going back to the ancient Egypt, when those 10 plagues was happening, they didn't touch Israel. When the destruction came upon Pharaoh and his army, when the Red Sea, when the land was no more dry and it drowned their ass, it didn't touch Israel. Mm-hmm. It's going to be the same thing now. But the difference is it's only going to be the elected Israel, not all Israel. Because the same niggas that saw the deliverance back then, guess what? After they saw the deliverance, they was murmuring and mocking and coming up against the Lord in the wilderness. That's why the Lord had to let them die off. Them the same ones that he swore wouldn't enter into the land. That time and those same spirits, that same oath applies to them. You read about that in the book of Hebrews, the 3rd and 4th chapter. The Lord swore in his wrath that they would not enter into his rest. So that's the difference between back then and now. The Lord is not going to deliver all of Israel. You got it, man.
That's all I appreciate you at. All right, I got to close it. This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 18 and verse is it 18? Yeah, it's definitely this chapter. Where it say yep, it's right here. Sirach chapter 18 verse 20. Before judgment examine thyself, and in the day of visitation thou shalt find mercy. Right? Because I want to say this, first and foremost, we do these lessons for the believers, okay, and for the hopeful elect's sake. So even though that this is happening in the majority of Jake, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, and all these Americans and the heathens that's going to be here, when they get destroyed by this, what Trump is doing, everything that he's doing, not just the 25% tariffs, but everything the Lord is doing through the elites ordering Trump around, is going to destroy the people. But the elect are going to do what? They're going to examine themselves before the judgment. And the Lord is executing judgment right now through this devil Esau, Edom, man. And Esau, he's executing judgment on the people through a tariff war right now. A fucking tariff war. All right, with nations that's actually supposed to be in alliance with America. So it's letting you know it's direct warfare on the people. So how do you escape this? You escape this through you returning to Yahweh Shem Yahushua if you're an Israelite by blood. It says, therefore, it says, before a judgment, examine thyself, and in the day of visitation thou shalt find mercy. So that's the conclusion of the whole matter. If you've been watching this video and you've been wondering, okay, all this bad stuff about to happen, how can I escape? This is how you escape, man.
Was that it?
Yeah, that was it.
This is, we closed it. It's Isaiah chapter 30, and starting at verse 15. It says, well, the point is 15, it says, for thus saith the Lord Yahweh, the Holy One of Israel, in returning and rest shall ye be saved. Mm-hmm. Returning, which is what? Turning back, repenting. So that's how you're going to be delivered from the times that we come into. By you repenting and calling on the only true names of the Father and the Son, which is Yahweh and Yahweh Shah. It says, in quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. When all hell break loose and people starving to death, they getting gunned down by troops, they getting thrown away in concentration camps, okay, and so on and so forth. the thing that's gonna keep the elect striving is the fact that they got confidence in Yahweh Shema Shah. Like I read in Proverbs the 3rd chapter, it said, "The Lord shall be thy confidence and shall keep thy foot from being taken." It says what? And ye would not, but the wicked of our people, they wouldn't rather have it that way. They rather to find a way on their own, find their own way, or to go to the government and take the CHIP or whatever avenue they choose to pick. They're gonna pick every avenue outside of trusting Yahweh Shema Shah, and that's gonna be to their demise.
It's gonna be to their judgment for destruction, man. You know, so once again, this has been another 2025 update for you brothers, you Akim, and the people. All right, Lord willing, this was an edifying lesson. Closing out, giving all glory, honor, and praises unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Chakwadash. Shalom, shalom, and on to the next one.